An Ohio University fraternity faces a lawsuit after the death of a pledge. High water has left multiple roads closed in Athens County. And in sports, see how a local archery program has dominated for years. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
The parents of an Ohio University student who died last year are suing the fraternity he pledged to. Good evening, I'm Taylor Pacelli. Thanks for joining us. Colin Wyant was a pledge in the Sigma Pi fraternity before he died in November. The lawsuit by Wyant's parents, Wade and Kathleen, contains 7 counts against the Sigma Pi fraternity and its Athens chapter. They are asking for over $25,000 in compensatory damages for each claim. Wyant was found dead last November inside the Sigma Pi Annex house located at 45 Mill Street. The suit claims that excessive hazing caused Wyant's death and he was forced to take drugs provided by the fraternity. The allegations against the fraternity include negligence, violation of Ohio's anti-hazing statute, 2 counts of negligent supervision, intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress, and civil conspiracy. The lawsuit also highlights other incidents involving Sigma Pi. Hofstra University withdrew any recognition of the fraternity in 2017, and California Polytechnic State University suspended its local chapter last month. A Gloucester man pled guilty to multiple charges on Tuesday, mostly relating to pictures and videos of teenage girls found on his phone. 24-year-old Zachary Wolf was sentenced to 4 years in prison and will be classified as a Tier 2 sex offender. Wolf will be required to register and verify his address every 6 months for 25 years. Governor Mike DeWine was in Athens County Tuesday seeking to learn more about education to career pathways while visiting Hocking College. Governor DeWine also met with students and officials at Shawnee State University and Portsmouth before traveling to Nelsonville. The Athens Messenger reports the governor's focus was on career-ready programs. Career education has been a focus of DeWine's, both on the campaign trail and now as governor. Ohio State Senator Frank Hoagland will be taking on a new position. This week, Larry Aboff, the Ohio Senate president, appointed Hoagland as chair of the Senate Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee. Hoagland will now review legislation affecting agriculture, horticulture, and animal care, as well as oversee all legislation of Ohio's natural resources. Carpenter Hall, the apartment building in Athens that provides low-income housing, may soon have 2 new owners. Integrated Services for Behavioral Health and the Ohio Finance Fund are currently in the contract stage of acquiring the building. Integrated Services announced on Facebook Tuesday that the companies decided to pursue the property once they learned the property would be marketed for sale. The building is currently owned by Carpenter Hall Ltd. Of Columbus. Some roads in Chauncey remain closed because of high water, according to the National Weather Service. The Hocking River overflowed and flooded highways and streets close to its banks. Some sections of Ohio State Route 13 were cleared of water earlier today, but the water still floods over Chauncey's Main Street and residential areas. The flood warning will continue to be in effect through Friday. The Athens County Engineer's Office has closed multiple roads due to a ground slip. Athens County Road 10, Baker Road between Athens County Road 78, Marion Johnson Road and Athens County Road 81, as well as Fox Lake Road in Athens Township, are all closed until further notice. These roadways are considered unsafe and it is highly advised to avoid these areas.
And it's looking to be much warmer as we take a look at the overall weather. 51 all over the place, in the lower 50s, upper 40s for all around the area. And it's definitely one to see that you really have to see it. You take a look right now at Athens, 49, humidity at 36. The winds are not too bad at 5 to 7 miles per hour. And we'll also take a look at right now tonight lows in southeastern Ohio, Columbus at 34. New York at 37, New Lexington at 38, Athens at 44, Ripley at 47. So you see, not much going down. All places are above freezing. It's going to be a cool night, but it isn't too cold. And I'll send it back to you, Taylor.
Thanks, Adley. It is great to be out of those freezing cold temperatures. Leaky pipes have left about 100,000 Ohio customers under a boil water advisory. Affected customers include hundreds of businesses. 9 of the 16 public school districts in Montgomery County were closed today because of water system outages and boil advisories. Montgomery County officials estimate that 20,000 customers are under a mandatory boil advisory. Dayton officials say 75,000 are affected. Water distribution centers have been set up throughout the county. An Ohio man previously indicted on terrorism charges is now also facing charges of making threats against the president. 49-year-old Demetrius Nathaniel Pitts was arrested in July, accused of planning to launch an attack during a 4th of July parade in Cleveland. The Department of Justice is now also charging him with threatening to kill President Trump. According to prosecutors, Pitts said he would kidnap the president, then cut off his heads and hands. 6 nursing home employees and a contracted nurse practitioner in Columbus have been charged after the death of a patient. All of the nurses from Whetstone Gardens and Care Center were indicted on 34 charges. The indictment says the nurses failed to properly treat serious wounds on a patient who died in March 2017. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost says 3 of the workers were charged with involuntary manslaughter. Court documents show that the second largest natural gas producer in West Virginia will pay $53.5 million to settle a federal class action lawsuit. The lawsuit is over royalty payments to residents and businesses in Clarksburg. The deal's terms were unsealed Wednesday. Pittsburgh-based EQT Corporation agreed to pay the money to settle the suit brought for about 9,000 people who alleged that it wrongly deducted charges from royalty charges. EQT CEO says the company is working to earn the trust of West Virginians. A West Virginia woman has agreed to pay back thousands of dollars in FEMA benefits. On Tuesday, Pamela Taylor of Clay County pleaded guilty to embezzling more than $18,000 of disaster benefits after their heavy flooding in June 2016. Taylor claimed her home was damaged and that she was staying in a rental unit. However, her home was not damaged. Taylor faces up to 30 years in prison and a fine of up to $500,000. Her sentencing is set for May 30th. An education bill opposed by West Virginia Teachers Union has passed the House of Delegates after a lengthy debate. The House voted 71-29 to endorse a watered-down version of the bill passed last week by the Senate. The hottest debate is over the establishment of charter schools. The Senate version established charter schools statewide, while the House version limited it to 2 per state. Teacher unions have authorized statewide action in response to the bill. Steps have been taken to secure funding for President Trump's border wall. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
President Trump plans to sign a border security funding bill that falls short of providing the $5 billion he wants for building a wall. That's according to Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. At the same time, McConnell says that's not all he plans to do.
I would say to all my colleagues has indicated he's prepared to sign the bill. He will also be issuing a national emergency declaration at the same time. And I've indicated to him that I'm going to support the national emergency declaration.
Lawmakers were set to start voting on the compromise border security bill Thursday afternoon. The bill could get to President Trump's desk as early as tonight. 365 days. That's how long it's been since a former student walked into his Parkland, Florida school and killed 17 people. Across the country, people paid tribute to the victims of the deadliest high school shooting in history. But the memorials are more emotional in Parkland. Natasha Chen is in Parkland, Florida with more.
At 10:17 this morning, students across Florida stood silent. The tribute honoring the 17 people who died 1 year ago at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
1 year ago, when Alyssa was brutally shot down and taken from our hearts, and it is very painful.
A year ago today, there was chaos and confusion during the Valentine's Day shooting rampage. But now a peaceful memorial garden stands outside the school. A sign with the school's unofficial slogan, MSD Strong, hangs above.
Today is a day that we are calling a day of service and love to honor the victims.
In almost an instant, student survivors became activists and made it their mission to campaign for gun reform.
This is our generation's Vietnam War, except the war is in our country.
They crossed the country holding protests.
Fight for your lives before it's someone else's job.
And rallies.
We were the only people that could have made this movement possible.
Since the shooting, 26 states and Washington, D.C. passed varying gun control measures.
We're really seeing a lot of reasons to look to the future and see hope.
But after the year of activism, today is a day for silence.
Survivors of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting have used this day both for memory and for advocacy to make sure another event like this never happens. The Senate has confirmed William Barr as the next Attorney General by a vote of 54-45. Barr's first stint as Attorney General, he won by a unanimous vote. It was more than 25 years ago under President H.W. Bush. After Bush failed to win re-election, Barr left public service behind and took on leadership roles at Verizon and Time Warner. During his recent confirmation hearings, Barr said distancing himself from Washington has made him more independent. The Environmental Protection Agency has come up with a plan to protect the public from highly toxic chemicals in drinking water. These chemicals are known as PFAS. GOP Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming says the panel will conduct a hearing this spring about the risks from this chemical. He also said the agency must be willing to take decisive action where warranted. I always get sick when I get the flu shot. Admit it, you've either said that or are friends with someone who has. Well, it turns out that sentiment may not be entirely wrong. You can't actually get the flu from the shot, but it's not so hot at preventing infection either. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, this season's flu shot is 47% effective at preventing the disease. It is better for children under 17 with the 61% rate and worse for adults 50 years old or over with just the 24% effectiveness. It's actually about par for the course. Over the past few seasons, the rate has fluctuated between 19 and 48%. But it's not all bad news for the flu vaccine. Even when it doesn't prevent infection, people who are vaccinated generally get less severe symptoms for shorter periods of time. Every little bit can help. The flu kills thousands of people in the U.S. each year. The CDC says there are still several weeks left in the current flu season and advises most people to get vaccinated.
Also, National Organ Donor
There is more than one way to give your heart on Valentine's Day. That story's still ahead.
And a personal one. Experts say organ donations.
And next on weather, you're going to see a much more consistent weather and a pretty decent weekend coming up.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We will also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Hello, I am forecaster Adelaide Carwish, and right now it is 49 degrees with the humidity at 36% and the winds to the south-southeast at about 7 miles an hour. We're going to take a look at the right now temperatures for all over the southeastern Ohio area. Columbus at 48, Chillicothe at 51, Jackson at 53, and Athens, of course, is at 51. Tonight, we're going to see 43 degrees as clouds start to move in. Rain possible late. Winds to the south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour. And let's take a look at all of tonight's lows. Columbus at 34, New Lexington at 38, Athens at 44. So if you go a little bit north, it's going to be in the upper 30s. If you go a little bit more down south, you're going to see in the upper to mid to upper 40s. So we're definitely seeing a range. Tomorrow, the 47, rain early, but is sort of clearing up in the afternoon. It will be mostly cloudy with a high of 47. Tomorrow, and all over southeastern Ohio, Columbus at 38, New Lexington at 45, Athens at 47. So you still see a little bit up north, it's going to be in the mid-40s, and as you get down south, it's Ripley, West Virginia, you're going to see 51 up there. So we're going to take a look at your weekend outlook here. 25, 40, 43. You got flurries possible on Saturday. You got a pretty decent weekend. Rain is probably not, it's a chance, but you probably won't get it. And we're going to take a look at the precipitation maps. You see that's tomorrow morning. It's going to come in, it's going to push through, and we're going to see rain in the early morning. And Saturday, that should just push down south. We may get a flurry or two. Maybe get a flurry or two, but not too much, if anything. And let's take a look at your 7-day outlook here. And Monday, and it looks pretty consistent, which for this area isn't too common. It's pretty consistent. We're all in the 40s, and it's quite nice. And it's going to be a chance of rain every day of the week. Wednesday's probably our biggest chance for rain, and it's all going to be all there in the end, and I'll send it back to you, Taylor.
Thanks, Adlai. This Valentine's Day, give someone a heart, yours, or maybe just pledge that you will. In today's Health Minute, Meredith Wood tells you all about how to participate in National Organ Donor Day.
Everyone knows February 14th is Valentine's Day. But did you know it's also National Organ Donor Day? Choosing to become an organ donor is a major decision and a personal one. Experts say organ donations from one person could save as many as 8 lives. Many factors must be considered when matching donors with recipients, things like blood type and body size, how sick the patient is, the recipient's distance from the donor, tissue type. All are taken into account. So how can you become a donor? Potential donors will need a valid ID, then they can register through their driver's license office or online. Most importantly, be sure to tell your friends and family so they can support your wishes. And who knows, maybe they'll be inspired to become a donor as well. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Happy Valentine's Day, News Watchers. A lot to love in sports today. We've got 2 big stories after the break. First, the women's basketball team had a dogfight in Toledo last night. One of our reporters will run it down. And the most dominant archery program in the state lives right here in Southeast Ohio. Both those stories coming up when Newswatch returns. And stay tuned to WOUB tonight. Here's a look at what's coming up on your local public television station.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We will also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back, News Watchers. I'm Blake Baker. Ohio women's basketball ranked first in the MAC heading into Toledo last night. Sports director Thomas Garvick has the highlights and reactions from the Cats' trip to Northwest Ohio.
The Ohio women's basketball team put their perfect road record on the line here at Toledo Wednesday night, but something had to give. Ohio coming in the best offensive team in the MAC versus Toledo, the best defensive team in the MAC. Advantage, Toledo and their dominant defense. Ohio coming in averaged over 80 points per game, but Nikiah Black and the Rockets made life very difficult for Ohio Wednesday night, and, well, Black went off for the Rockets. She had 17 of her game-high 20 points in the first half, and here's one of her 5 3-balls in the first frame. Ohio, on the other hand, they had a lid on the tin all night long. They shot just 24% from the field, including just 2 of 26 from downtown. What's crazy about all that is they took 26 more shots than Toledo did, but it didn't matter. Ohio did, though, close the first half on a 7-0 run to get the game within 6 at the break, but that's as close as they ever got. Cece Hook, she still got hers, but it took her 22 shots to get her team leading 21 points, which is too much Toledo for Ohio to handle. The Rockets started the fourth quarter on a 7-0 run to put the nail in the coffin. The Rockets, they give Ohio its worst loss of the season, 76-50, reaction to Toledo's dominant performance.
You know, to Toledo's credit, they capitalized on every mistake we made. You know, they shot it really well. When we gave them an open shot, they made it, and that's what good teams do. You know, the score is a little disheartening, the disparity in the score, but you know, we knew coming into this was going to be a tough task, and it surely was. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll watch film, and the nature of the schedule doesn't allow you to get too high or too low. You got to play on Saturday, so we'll get ready, start getting ready for Western.
After suffering what was their worst loss of the season, Ohio returns home to the Combo this Saturday when they welcome in Western Michigan. Reporting from Toledo for Newswatch, I'm Sports Director Thomas Garbrick.
Since 2008, Logan Archery has competed in NASP, the National Archery in Schools program. Coach Scott Fickle promotes inclusion and excellence, and his execution has been right on target. For more than 10 years, Logan has been the best in Ohio at doing that. It starts in elementary school.
I talked to the gym teachers, and they do it in gym class, and they said those kids they eat it up. They love shooting bows.
Continues through middle school and ends with a varsity letter at Logan High School. In between, its archers go for gold and often get it. All three Chieftain teams have combined to win 8 state titles, 1 national title, and even a world title, all since 2012.
To be on a team that is good and has a reputation for being so, that really pushes you to want to do better and do your best so you can support this team.
On top of a decorated past, a big future perk entices young Logan archers to get involved.
There's college scholarships out there for archery. There's definitely college scholarships.
In terms of the present, Fickle's goal is to support kids who have few relationships with sports and sometimes their peers. When it comes to improving and finding success in both, Logan's teams rarely miss the mark.
It's really helped me expand my boundaries. Going to these tournaments, you have to reach out and talk to more people, and it's really helped my social skills too.
The team has always had great value in the community, but now, proven by a recent conversation Fickle had outside of Logan, his archery program has gained national recognition.
And this was all the way down in Georgia. I had no idea who that guy. I just said I was from Logan, Ohio, and he said they have a really good NAS team.
Well, Logan's archers will have to wait till Saturday to compete again, and you folks at home will have to wait till tomorrow for more sports news, because that's all I got. Taylor, take it away.
Thanks, Blake. If you're in a relationship, Valentine's Day is usually an expensive gift-giving day. But this year, spending is expected to reach unprecedented levels. That's according to a just-released annual survey. According to the National Retail Federation, the average person will spend about $162 to shower their significant other with love. That's an expected record-breaking total of $20.7 billion. The survey finds men will do the most spending at a little over $229. Women will spend significantly less, slightly under $100. Now over to you, Adlai, for a look at our final weather.
And take a look at the weekend outlook here. We're going to see 25, 40, 43, all pretty decent. Maybe flurries on Saturday. We will see whether that happens or not. But it's all going to be pretty decent. There is a slight chance of rain for all 3 days. But we're going to take a look at our 7-day outlook here. Friday looks good. Saturday looks pretty good. Saturday might be a bit cooler than the rest of the days, but that's the least chance of rain. And everything looks perfectly fine. 43, 43, 44. Everything looks good. I'll send it to you, Taylor.
Thanks, Adlai. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Taylor Pacelli. Stay tuned for the PBS News Hour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Happy Valentine's Day and have a great night.